Now shall we start?
Sure. You're ready.
Orange.
Om Badra Sato Samaya, Mano Balaya, Badra Sato Tenoba, Tidando Membawa, Suto Kayo Membawa, Subu Kayo, Honorado Membawa, Sarvasiti Meprayata, Sarva Karma Sutame, Chetana Shreya, Guru Hunga, Ha, Bhagavan. Sarvatanga Dambandra Mamma Zambanzimbawa Ma, Samaya Sado. Okay, now please reflect on this. And then here we have this verse 68. And this is so the four, you see, the four forces are now completed, you see. The aspiration, as we went so detailed, not just as mentioned, aspiration, but it is beginning. And then you dip in, and then not just aspire. Oh, I am so aspire. Not only that, no. Fully engage in the trusting way, you know. Then there's the first. And after that, you see the steadfast force. And then the third one is the force of enjoyment. So we did this today. And the last one is relinquish force. So relinquish doesn't mean to give up, but take it easy, follow and progress on the path step by step, you see, no? So then after that, we have, see, two strengths. You know, you remember two strengths that you see. Therefore, leaving everything that is adverse to it, I will labor to increase my diligence through aspiration and self-confidence, relinquish and joy, see, by strength of earnest application. Now here, strength of earnest application and the strength of exertion of control. So those two called strength, power, strength. So here comes the first power, strength, the strength of earnest application. Here now, verse 68 said, as seasoned fighter face the swords of enemies upon the battle lines. This is just an example. The seasoned fighter means the army, military, who have such a great skill fighting in the battle. He fought with many enemies. In all time, they fight with a knife. Now they're with the weapons, guns, bombs, no? So has such a great skill how to handle those things, no? Because they have so much experience. So this enemy is outside of you. The people, not the people enemy. Now here in bodhicitta practice, the inner enemy, those who are talked about mental afflictions. As I mentioned, you know, they come in our mind very naturally. We think it's just nature. And outside of this Buddha's teaching, in the other world, if you talk how to purify these mental afflictions, they think you are crazy. You know? So how you can do this? You know? What means purify your mental afflictions? You enjoy your life with these mental afflictions. But you see, at the end, after now having these mental afflictions, there's nothing but only suffering, you see. So that's what he's talking about. See, as a seasoned fighter faced the swords of enemies upon the battle line, I will lightly dodge the weapons of defilement, see, and strike my enemy upon the quick, see. Those, as the example, the armies, the militaries, they have such great skill how to handle all the weapons. Likewise, I am as a Dharma practitioner. When these mental afflictions, they manifest, see, I will lightly dodge the weapons of defilements, when the attachment comes in the mind, when the desire comes in the mind, when the anger comes in the mind, at that time, now I have to have a skill how to handle this. These afflictions are the weapon, because when they're weaponized, then all my peace and happiness is taken away. I have no peace, no happiness. So I will have to make every effort not to miss this battle. So see, and strike, see, my enemies upon the quick, see. Skill here, quick means very skill. I have to see it. Mm. 68. So this is also, we very beginner practitioners. When there are some objects coming around you to rise your desire, your attachment, slowly, just run away. Instead of facing them, because we are so weak right now, not a high practitioner. When the people you don't like, they're coming around, if you feel there's a danger to rise the anger, you just go away. So anger will not manifest. See? So that's what is saying. So I will lightly dodge the weapons of defilement and strike my enemies upon the quick. Then with this, you see, with this skillful method, first you have to look at the impermanence at the beginning, suffering of samsara. And then if you have more practice of bodhicitta itself, so like this, then if you have more practice of emptiness, step by step, you see. Let's start my enemies upon the quick. That's so totally uproot at the end all the mental afflictions. There, as earlier I mentioned, we as a beginner, sometimes you hear, because nowadays, Dharma is so open, unlike before. And there are some teachers who will come, give you the highest teaching. No, this is a very quick path. No, like Mahamudra, Dzogchen, emptiness, or highest yoga tantra teachings. This will give you such great opportunity to just free from suffering and achieve enlightenment so fast. And we are not prepared for that. And then, say, as I mentioned, then in the sutra system, in the Vinaya system, you are not allowed this. But in this highest path, you are allowed, you are okay, you can do it. But our mental affliction is not prepared for that. And then we engage these, in the highest state of those practitioners who are not prepared for that and who are defeated by these mental afflictions. See? And our mind becomes so gross regard to the mental afflictions. And then we suffer so much. So we don't want that. So that's why Kampupa mentioned a beginner, instead of fighting for the mental afflictions, first you run away from that. Once you've developed strength, then you can fight. Just earlier mentioned, when you give practice of generosity, right at the beginning, you cannot give your body, your head, your hands, but you can give vegetables, piece of fruits. But later, when you get used to it, when you feel yourself as a piece of fruit or vegetable, then you have no fear even to give your head, your arms. So at that time, then you can challenge mental afflictions with this authority. So this is what it's saying, step by step first, you see. Then it's coming next again, more, you see. If in the battle, the soldiers drop his sword in fright, he swiftly takes it up again. In the battle, you are fighting with the enemy now. Now this is all time with fighting with the sword, knife. So that time, suddenly you drop the knife on the ground. The enemy will not wait for you, will try to take you as fast as possible. So you who drop the knife, at that moment, without any waiting, immediately you pick up the sword because there's a danger of your life. This guy in fright. Simply you pick up the knife and you just fight for. So likewise, if the arm of mindfulness is lost, in fear of hell, I will quickly get it back, you see. This is a very good practice, you see, teaching, very clear. If I damage my mind with these mental afflictions, then that means I've created a mass kind of the mass cause of suffering, go into the hell realm. So reflecting on that, this here is called vigilance. we have to have such a vigilance when you walk, when you see things, always watch your mind. And this will make great to cause reborn in the hell realm, hungry ghosts, animals. By fear of that, reflect on that vigilance and avoid that. That's how you see it. Through that way, we can minimize our mental afflictions, obscurations, defilements. These are skills. This is the skills that we take, we follow, and we practice. See, as earlier mentioned, nobody can order me to get rid of my mental afflictions. So you have anger, so get rid of that. No. You have a such kind of ego, you get rid of it. I don't like your ego. No, that doesn't do any good. But we need a skill, how to reduce our ego, how to reduce all this mental affliction skillfully. So those great teachers who has a skill, there's one verse is described in the life story of Jigten Sungkun. If you read, I think it's in the meaningful to behold. He can relate such great disciples, highly advanced. When highly advanced disciples approach to him, he can give teachings according to that individual's need. And there are some who are so stupid, knows nothing, and he can relate to that individual and give teachings step by step. Eventually, through these steps, they will achieve enlightenment. So we need that kind of skill to ourselves, to purify our mental afflictions. We cannot force, so I don't like my attachment. That doesn't help. How to reduce my attachment, my anger, my ego, my greed. So we have to follow that step by step. This is called Dharma practice. No? If we are not careful, these mental afflictions are so tricky. They can come in a different way. No? Sometimes you went to 3-year retreat and you got a title, or your retreat master. Now you got the title of retreat master. So then built up ego. Oh, I am retreat master. I have the title of the retreat master. So I'm very important. Or you go to this college, Buddhist, study Buddhist philosophy for some years, and you got the title of the Keshe or Kempo. So I said, now I got a Kempo titles. I'm very important. And you built up ego from that. Instead of reducing ego, we make ego bigger, you see. So if we are not mindful, they will come to manifest in a different way and take advantage. Through countless lifetimes, they did that. And they will do the same thing in this life. Our Dharma students as well. There are some, so I studied Dharma, even though they may not have title. So I studied Dharma for many years. I know better than you. And built up ego, you know. So this is called vigilance. very important. So that's what it's saying now. See, sometimes in the middle of this, we drop our mindfulness, and at that time the afflictions manifest, the knife of the afflictions manifests and takes away all our peace and happiness. So that time we need such mindfulness. So likewise, if the arm of, say, mindfulness is lost in fear of hell, I will quickly get it back. So this practice, see. Now next is it's called awareness. Clear awareness is coming here. This is here, verse 70. Just as poison filled the body, born on the current of the blood. So this is an arrow, shoot an arrow which has a poison to the body, and then that poison will go into the blood and will circulate entire body and heart, and it will kill you. So it's this one. Just as poison fills the body, born on the current of the blood. So this is the example. Meaning here, likewise, evil, when it finds its chance, will spread and permeate the mind, you see. Or evil sin, the mental afflictions, like attachment, desire. And then it manifests and permeates your entire being, your mind. And you become the embodiment of attachment. Also, anger, the rage manifests, and it takes over all your mind, permeates. You become the embodiment of anger, see. And then there's no any peace, no happiness, see. So look at this awareness, aware this. So this is such a precious teaching, you see. As I mentioned, you can go around everywhere, all over the world. You cannot find like this kind of precious teaching. We know, you see, everyone knows, in the world there's so much suffering because of these mental afflictions. Especially now, these days, the mental afflictions are becoming more kind of strong. Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga is not exists outside somewhere else. When the mind has more afflictions, stronger afflictions, then it makes the situation worse. There's no peace inside. When there's no peace inside, then it manifests outside. There's no peace outside. If there's no anger, there's no reason to make a battle, war. When there's no greed, then there's no any to take away from others. Because when your greed is not satisfied, you are so greedy to fulfill that greedy, then you go around everywhere and then try to take others. And there's sufferings. There's so much sufferings for oneself and others, you see. If we know how to content ourselves, or what we have, oh, we're so good, so wonderful, we're happy, then that happiness brings to others. There's happiness. See, that's how to make the happiness. How to appreciate yourself. We have to practice ourselves. Every day. It's like, as I mentioned, it's like a lunch. We have to eat every day. So every day practice these things. So this, as I mentioned, it is the earnest application, you see, the earnest application power. We need that kind of mindfulness, awareness, vigilance. All this we need to practice Dharma. This is what's called Dharma practice. Doesn't matter where you are, at your home, any place, or in the retreat, in the social, or always text. Just we need some special attention to this. How to reduce these mental afflictions. Because as I mentioned, they're so habituated, that's what it is called inveterate propensities. Or, these mental afflictions are so pernicious, deeply rooted, difficult to uproot it. So that's why I say Shantideva hears repeatedly just saying one after another. You can see all the focus is just how to purify the mind. But with the different ways, different methods, because these mental afflictions are so tricky. They come in the many different ways, take us to the lower realm. Okay, there's 70. Now here, another very important, nice verse 71. So I will be like a frightened man, verse 71, okay, brimming oil jar in his hand and menaced by a swordsman saying, spill one drop, you shall die. This example. This is how practitioners should hold themselves. See, just an example, a prisoner, who has such a kind of false method, broke the law, to be persecuted, to be killed. Such person now bring out from the prison and give him a jar filled with oil to the rim, and then telling him that there will be two gourds, one in front of you, one behind you. And they will take round this square or this park, big, huge park, go around. if you drop one, no, if you spill one drop from this jar, the oil, at that spot, you'll be killed. But if you have not spilled even one drop, you'll be freed. No. You understand this? Understood this example? So now that two guards, one front, one behind, takes him round that big park. In the center of the park, there's a lot of display, music, dance, and a lot of amusement there. And that man, that prisoner, will have full concentration because now there's a danger of his life, whether he'll be killed or freed. So now he's taking by all the way around. And then, luckily, he did not spill even one drop. And then the guard takes away that bowl filled with the oil and asks, did you see any of here dance, music, play, all this amusement? And he will say, I have never seen or heard of them. And the God will ask, why? Because all my attention is here now. It's a matter of my life. No? So this is just an example. So we practitioners should have that kind of attention. Samsara, no matter what, there is an attractive addiction, or this nothing but a source of suffering. At the end, as earlier mentioned, no matter how much you enjoy the five sensorial objects, there's no satisfaction at the end. So you see that you are fully kind of convinced about that. So that's to say, this is how practitioners should hold themselves. Because you remember the suffering of the hell realms, hungry ghosts, animals. Even there are some human beings are so much they're suffering there. They're constantly there, every day they have to work for this life. No. There's no really end of suffering, you see, in the samsara. So to free from this vicious cycle, this bodhicitta practice, such precious. You have to practice without satisfaction until you become Buddha. So this is diligence. This is what called diligence, you see. Make sense? This is what what it's happened was, this is really, it happened in the history. At the time of Buddha, where Buddha was in Magadha, it's a Magadha area. Like say, Sharavasti, Bodhigaya, those area. Where in the country, a woman who's very kind of devoted to Buddha, married to a king in the country, but the king was not following Buddha. So then, one day they made a kind of elaborated celebration. So the kings, the priests, his priests, invited. So then the wife also said, can I invite my priest? I follow Buddha. And the king said, oh, yes, sure, of course. So then she requested Buddha to send some monks. So Buddha sent a group of monks. One of them was Katayana, the leader. And then that day made a very elaborated celebration. So elaborated. Then after the celebration, then the king went round to all his priests. Have you enjoyed all my arrangement? All this luxurious food, music, sight, sounds, all this. And all his priests, teachers, they highly appreciated him, praised him. What wonderful that you could arrange. And then he went to the Buddhist monks and asked, have you enjoyed? And for some reason, just to help the king, they said, no, we have no way to enjoy these things. The king was so shocked. I did my best to please you. What you are saying this? No. Then that monk, he gave this example. So tomorrow, so I will instruct you, give you, from your prison, a man that should be persecuted, you bring as a mission and do these things. So the king arranged next day, and that prison came round. Then king asked, have you enjoyed all my arrangement, all these celebrations? And that prisoner, I haven't seen any of those because I totally, this because it's this matter of my life and death. So my 100% concentration is with this ball. So then the monk, Katayana, said to king, so this is my case. Samsara is a state of suffering. There is, yes, temporary happiness, enjoyment, but it's all illusory nature. There's nothing permanent peace and happiness. So he said, I contemplated on this. It's just a display. Then the king was totally understood. And he understood such a great practitioner, highly accomplished. That's why how they practice. So this is a story, you see. So we practitioners remind this as much as we can. Then what? Then it's just as a man would, in verse 72, just as a man would swiftly stand. Now this also, vigilance, mindfulness, all this. If in his life a serpent were to glit, if sleep and lethargy beset me, I will speedily repulse them. Now here sleep, I should say, at all time, there's not so much, should say, disturbing for the sleep. This we should say a little changed, Nowadays, all these technologies, all these high techs disturbs so much sleep because people have a lot of problems getting sleep, And due to lack of sleep, they cannot meditate as well. At those times, people have a lot of time to sleep. They just sleep comes very easily, no problem. Say then don't sleep too much. This we have to understand. You see. Anyhow, what they say here is, just example say, if the snake jumps onto your lap, and that person with that movement will jump in the sky because it's so scared, the snake will bite you and kill you. Just as a man would swiftly stand if in his life a serpent were to glit. So we practitioners should not scatter our mind. Now here, instead of sleep, we should say, should not so much watch TV. And, don't watch so much TV, Facebook, Twitter, the tweets. No, so just see this all are news. Yes, there's news, very addictive. Even I also myself, I should admit, so addictive to the news. What's next? What's next? What's next? Is there any excitement? Is there any breaking news? So addictive. And that's such a great distraction to reflect your mind in the Dharma, because your mind is fully occupied by them. Instead of practicing Dharma yourself, purifying your mind, we are so diluted in this. So if says addiction, this and lethargy, so there are different types of lethargy, laziness. I said, I'll leave this behind. Maybe I'll practice tomorrow. Meditate today. Oh, no, says, okay, today. No, I said, tomorrow, I'll meditate tomorrow. We postpone all the time. This is also lethargy. So we need to slow down our speed of the mind, more relaxed, and reflect on the suffering of samsara, impermanence of the death. At the time of death, now as I mentioned, when you have no dharma, then you can say, don't talk about the death. No, it only brings the fear. It scares me. So those who don't have no solution for that, how to free from the fear of the death. Yes, for those, yes, let them have a little relax. But since we have this kind of precious, profound, and Dharma which can penetrate our mind, so it's good to talk about the suffering of this death. Then we say, oh, I cannot waste my time. I cannot waste my precious human life. I must practice Dharma. So these are very important point, you see. So if sleep and lethargy beset me, they come, I will speedily repulse them, let them go away. So anyhow, whatever distracts me, whatever the distraction is there, it disturbs my mind. We as a beginner practitioner, put those aside, bring the Dharma, first most important. There are a lot of things in the life, very important things there, but the Dharma is the most important. So we should put Dharma practice as the first list. When you have many lists, put the Dharma at the first. And then all others comes the next. Because Dharma helps this life, today, tomorrow, and next life, eventually to enlightenment. So by practicing bodhicitta, so these things we should list, and all is, as above mentioned, is about how to purify all the mental afflictions, mental delusions, reduce our ego step by step. Then once you realize emptiness, then you realize the emptiness of the afflictions, mental delusions. And then you are fearless. There's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear at the time of death, next life. So this is why Dharma is so precious. That's why it's how practice is important. And next, verse 73, every time then that I fell, I will reprove and chide myself, thinking long that by whatever means such falls in future shall no more occur. See, right now, today, day-to-day, in the day-to-day life, how much shortcoming I have. No. My mind is like a running water. It goes all the different directions. I cannot control. My Dharma practice is so weak, so poor. Accept that. Reflect on that. These are how to acknowledge our weakness instead of developing our more ego. So, oh, yes, I studied practice Dharma so many years. I'm a senior practitioner. No, I know Dharma so much. I studied this text, that text, this text. No, having ego, arrogance. No. We may have a lot of information about Dharma, but we don't have the practice. We may have a lot of theories about the Dharma, but we have no realization. So look at this. No, meditate. This is not the way to depress ourselves, but this is the way how to acknowledge our weakness and develop from there. And just count what kind of mistake I made, one by one. See, then just make kind of say, restart. every day is your new day, and practice Dharma. Then purify all those our weakness and refresh our practice. Yes, I know these things, but I don't have the practice. I must practice, progress the path. This is the very purpose where Buddha taught the Dharma teaching. Buddha didn't teach Dharma as a, no, I should say, Buddha did not teach only for education. Of course, there are so many people out there, they're studying Dharma just for education. As other day I mentioned. Oh, I said Buddhists believe this, Buddhists believe rebirth, Buddhists believe karma, Buddhists believe this, that, you know. They will talk about that. But actually, Buddha taught is to free from suffering. And to happen that way, we have to put into practice. So that's why we need such details of this study, practice, step by step. See? It makes sense? Makes sense? It's very important. I hope you understood. Now, time flies. Okay. Now verse 74. There are more. Still it continues. See, the earnest, what we have, the earnest application, no, the power, the strength, you know, we need that tulang betop in Tibetan. You know. At all times and any situations, how can I make mindfulness my constant habit? See, thinking thus, I will desire to meet with the teachers, fulfill the proper task. See, yedala temba komba nyikirshi di tune teba rigbalene to nameja. So see, so practitioners, they're trying their best. Now Shantideva is mentioned here. You try all the things what you can to develop your practice of bodhicitta, and especially to purify all our mental afflictions. See, at all times, see, in any situation you see, how can I make mindfulness my constant habit? So, here, mindfulness, as earlier mentioned, today, tomorrow, this week, next month, next year, this life, until I become Buddha. So I have to make my mindfulness all the way to the Buddhahood. So mindfulness is the key for our practice. Now everywhere, now people, not even Buddhist, so mindfulness they're talking about. So mindfulness is the highway towards the Buddhahood. Now, when you drive highway, means there's what? Highway means there's no what? No traffic light. No. So there's no traffic light when you drive in highway. So with this meditation practice, mindfulness, without any stop, always be mindful. See the importance of the mindfulness, you see. Now the thinking, thus I will desire to meet with the teacher and fulfill so the cause of the mindfulness, meet teacher, read books. You see, these Dharma books, they represent your teacher. You receive these teachings from the teacher. Once you receive those teachings, then these Dharma books are your teachers. You read them, reflect them, and occasionally, if you have chance, meet teachers, good teachers, who has good kind of qualities, not necessarily titles. There are some teachers who have very high titles, but no qualities. When there's no qualities, they waste time of the students because they don't have a good skill to teach. No. Without title, the teacher who have studied general knowledge, especially Mahayana Sutras, and then have practice, have a compassion to others, who takes the responsibilities. So it's good to meet those teachers, remind our practice. Sometimes we are looking at a very high title, the highest title. Then you just say, can you give me blessing? And they give you blessing. Yes, I will say some prayers for you. That doesn't do so much. If they can do, should be better by now. But the world is not getting so much better because we individually have to change ourselves. We need good teachings like this to all others. So practice this. This way you can progress onto the path step by step. You see? Then proper task is, again, it's the proper task means that makes sense. In Tibetan, Rigbe Le. Rigpa means, as mentioned, reason. No, this makes the sense. Or said, this is the cause of suffering. Through that reason, by that cause, it brings the suffering. You avoid that. And through this practice, it's a cause for peace and happiness, and you follow it. That's called proper task. Rebele. No? So then through that, we go into the retreat, meditation practice. This is such a precious. Yeah, this, maybe I want to share one information. Right now in Tibet, so Dikum Monastery, in Dikum Monastery, there is a great retreatant. His name is called Tashi Rabden. Since 82, he started retreat. From 82 now, he was always in the retreat. Now he is highly accomplished Now he's in the 60s. People around that area, now, they go to see him, receive teachings, blessings. Now that is the genuine master, because he didn't get the title, by some study. There's no title, no. He never wasted 1 second in his whole life. Now he is highly accomplished in the practice of Mahamudra. Always in the Dhammakaya state, you see. So like that, you see, even if we have the nerve, if we have the determination, can achieve. This is a life, not something, a mythical story. So that happened past time, like Milarepa. 11th century, 12th century happened this, but still fresh. No. He received such precious teachings from his root gurus, and without wasting, he digests those teachings. Now he embodies the Mahamudra, and that's definite. So there's just one, if you look around, you can find, Nowadays, I saw some videotapes, his, now finally, he's in the 60s, inviting him some other monasteries, and all the monks are now, they see, how precious he is. So it's just, so wonderful. So I feel, so now I'm so kind of inferior practitioner, you see. So we should encourage practice. These mental afflictions, as I mentioned, their nature is impermanent. No, their nature is emptiness. They are illusory nature. So we should, when you realize illusion, they are illusory nature. When you realize emptiness, their nature is emptiness. So we have all the Dharma teachings for that. That's why these teachings are explained. Now, verse 75. Now, verse 75 is this, as mentioned, exertion. It is the called exertion of control, the strength of the exertion of control. So please reflect. By all means, Wang Juratop, in Tibetan, by all means, then, before I start some work. Okay. That I might have strength, is sufficient to the task. I will recall the teachings upon carefulness and lightly rise to what is to be done. See. First, before you practice, reflect past. What I have done, reflect. What should I do? Reflect. Then after that, see, it is here, I might have the strength. See, here strength means is ability, wisdom, say, to accomplish the practice. So then this here, what is there saying? I recall the teachings upon carefulness and lightly rise to what is to be done. It means, here is before. Lightly rise means teachings upon carefulness. It's like the practice of the practice of three training. The training of the morality, the training of the meditative concentration, the training of the wisdom awareness. Reflect on this. And then you see exertion of control. You can control the situation with the carefulness, with the mindfulness. See? And then here, lightly rise to what is to be done means joyfully. Lightly rise means joyfully. No, you know the definition of the diligence, perseverance. It's joyous effort. You are feeling so joyful. I'm the most fortunate person. Having this precious human life, now I can practice bodhicitta. This is the real bridge from samsara to the enlightenment, Buddhahood. Nothing can replace by this. This is the jewel I have in my hand. I cannot now waste this opportunity. By all means, I follow the path. That's what it's saying. And lightly rise to what it is to be done, to perfect. So through this all path, you said here, you should understand the 5 paths, 10 bhumis, all are included here. Step by step you follow until you become Buddha. See? And continues 76 verse. See, just as flaxen thread wet to and fro, impelled by every breath of wind, so all I do will be achieved, controlled by movement of a joyful heart, you see. This earlier, right at the first mention, you see, of this verse, you see, without wind, nothing moves. No. So without diligence, nothing can achieve. So the wind moves, when the wind moves, when the wind breathes means moves back and forth, then all things moves likewise. Now I put the diligence, the wind of diligence, then I follow a path towards the enlightenment. See? It's a delight you have, no? So all I do will be achieved, controlled by the movement of the joyful heart, you see. So with the joyful, then practice all the way towards the enlightenment, Buddhahood. So feeling how fortunate I am to purify all these mental afflictions. You know, all these mental afflictions that I can purify. So that's why Milarepa is so joyful in his practice. He sustained his retreat for the rest of his life because with this kind of reason. No, he said, no, I met such a great master like Marpa and received all these precious teachings. I am the luckiest person in the world that exists. You cannot tell me what to do, what should I do, what should I not do. I know what I'm doing. So that, as mentioned, this great master now in Dukung Teshraten, he was doing that. So many people came make great offering to him. Even he never touches, never looks on that. No. Because nothing can replace his meditation practice. Nothing can replace his enlightenment. So we all should admire that, follow this kind of path, practice the teaching, and still afresh, you see. This is not something history, legendary. They're still fresh. So I hope I have explained that you could understood and got some benefit. Any questions you have?
Yes, I have.
What?
Can you please go on to teach us with the next chapters? It is so precious that you give us these teachings.
Yes. Now first you practice those. That's what I taught.
Yes, I'll try my best.
Yes, you should try your best.
Yeah.
Yes, once you try your best, then I will start.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile, also I have a lot of practice as well.
So can we hear your teachings maybe beginning of March?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I first see now this coming end of this month, the two groups here in this area requested me to teach the songs of Venerable. So
Yeah.
This few weeks ago, they asked me, so I accepted. So we do that. And also this month, I have been kind of quite busy. So I need a little bit to reflect now, kind of, I should say, I need to refresh myself.
Okay.
After I get some refreshment, then we can discuss and then we can do,
Okay.
Yeah, but first is this 76 verses this time we went. Please refresh each, all the 76 verses. Reflect and practice, please, this is the practice. You shouldn't feel there's some special practice out there. Open this book and practice from this. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have some time, we have some time.
Yes. So, everything is impermanent.
Yes.
But now sometimes there's a mention, relinquish force. So I need some little bit rest. Yeah. I'm 76 years old or 75 years old. So it's now get tired more easily, Yeah.
Yeah.
But I try my best.
It will be great.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for these teachings.
Yes,
They're so precious.
They are so precious. I also take in my heart. It's so precious. Yes. They are like the songs of Milarepa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can't we be together when you teach? Can't you put it on Zoom so we can all join him?
Yes. Then we can discuss, Yes, Mr. Arne, he's well prepared.
Of course, I'm always ready.
Yeah.
I also have one question.
Yes.
Thank you for teachings, Lama. Nice to meet you again.
No problem.
About mindfulness. mindfulness.
Yes, I know.
Maybe
Yes.
you can talk more about it. It's like the same as awareness concentrated on itself. Just a little bit more about mindfulness. You told that it highway to the
Buddhahood.
yes.
Mindfulness is not forgetting your virtuous practice. That's the definition of the mindfulness. Not forgetting your virtuous practice. Then you can aware that. So awareness is which supports your practice. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, now don't forget, be mindful.
Khenchen
Where are you now?
Yes.
Lama, where are you now?
Oh,
Where are you now? The place, where are you?
I'm in the United States.
Yes, but where? Concrete place.
Concrete place is Wisconsin.
Okay. And the city?
City is Madison.
Madison. Okay.
Yes. You can visit me.
Yes, I will try.
So,
Yes, one.
so Rinpoche, in the Sangha, if you look at the chat, there is a note of future teachings for Rinpoche and getting on our email list, as well as looking at vajrapub.com. So you can find out more teachings there, okay?
Yes, Victoria, what do you have?
Khenchen Law?
Can you
Mhm.
put out the sites?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, Khenchen Law, I wanted to ask you, you were speaking about that wonderful practitioner at Drikung.
Yes.
So have you met him?
I personally not.
Okay. Now, what I want to ask you is this, as a householder, I'm trying to give as much time as I can. And I do like about 3 hours of meditation most days. But is it possible? I mean, it seems to me that maybe one can only achieve what that man achieved if one is locked away for years at a time with
Mhm.
no other responsibilities.
Mhm.
So am I right in thinking that, or is it actually possible to achieve that much as he did when you're a householder?
No, you see, Buddha's teaching, there's no limit, you see. If you dedicate 100%, and you can get the 100% benefit.
Mhm.
If you dedicate 1%, you can get 1% benefit.
Mhm.
You see, so from 1% to the 100%, how much you can dedicate, spend the time, and you can get that much benefit.
Mhm.
And all is count about the mind. The mind is very important.
Yes.
You see. So just think about that.
Well, that means, doesn't it, that while you're doing other things, like let's say shopping for groceries,
Yes.
while you're doing that, if you're in your mind saying mantras, let's say, or thinking about emptiness,
Yes.
that's somewhat helpful.
Of course, yes. It's the practice is that's what's called mindfulness.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mindfulness while you are walking, while you are eating, while you are doing anything. Mindful. The mindful estimation. Mindful means not forgetting the virtuous action.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll see you Saturday.
Okay.
Khenchen, may I ask
Yes.
a question?
Oh, Marty, yes.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very powerful teachings with elephants and sword fighters and
Yes.
honey on a razor blade.
Yes.
One of the stanzas kind of I got stuck on, number 73.
Yes.
when it says, you know, when you fail, that you reprove and vilify yourself, and that, you know.
Yes, yes. Refresh yourself.
And I guess the question I have is, how can we develop enough strength of character to be able to motivate ourselves, but also be real honest? And because it feels like, at least maybe in this culture or personally, it's hard to be a self-critic without demotivating oneself, without becoming depressed or you know, demotivated. So
that's very important to have the whole picture, you see, first of all. It's not just one small thing, whole picture. And within that, say, look at the nature of the samsara, you know, and then look at the picture of all those teachings about the mind, how to relate to the mind. As I mentioned, relate to the mind is nothing to do with the culture, belief system. It's reality, you know, to everybody. And then by relating to the mind, how much limitation I have and how much teaching that I have received. And through that, how much I have improved or not improved, you see, reflect on this. So sometimes it is good to kind of a little bit critical yourself. I'm not practicing enough, you see, because it's not the way to depress, but to inspire. Inspiring that Dharma is such a precious teaching. Bodhicitta is such a precious teaching. It has the wisdom, it has the compassion, it is the nothing but good. You see, only make better. You see, Dharma practice makes the only better, stronger, more courageous, fearlessness. Right now, I have so much fear because of my attachment. You see, then at the time of death, I have to leave everything behind. Then what is the benefit? Whereas if I practice bodhicitta, then I can achieve fearlessness. So that's the place all my kind of happiness, joy is just there, without grasping. No, it's just there. So as mentioned, you have to have a full picture, not just look one small thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Then you will appreciate yourself. I have been practicing Dharma for that many years. I'm so fortunate I have Dharma in my life.
Yes.
So I go for it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Shantideva Rinpoche.
Yes.
I had one question about, couldn't you say that the practice of the 6 paramitas is really the essence of bodhicitta?
6 paramita is the special factor. It's a special factor to improve your bodhicitta practice. Okay.
Khenchen La.
Yes.
Khenchen La.
Yes.
I
I'm
just
speaking.
this last sentence you were saying or reading, I will be controlled by a joyful heart. I love that so much. It's like the essence of, I felt like when I die, this is all I need to practice. This is everything. I got such a revelation by this sentence. It was really hitting me deeply.
That's what means. You say practice joyfully. Lightly means joyfully, with such an interesting joyfully, because we are not diluting. No, we are not diluting something which does not exist, but we're enlightening what we have. So my mind is controlled by the joyfulness through the practice of bodhicitta. So what do you need more than this? Okay.
I've been thinking about it the whole week. Do you remember this one? Oh, you remember this?
Yes, I remember, yes.
Yeah, he's standing here,
Yes.
listening to this.
Yes. Okay. You should appreciate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you should appreciate yourself, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, Cindy Chang is there. Wonderful.
Hello, Khenchen.
Yes.
I wanted to let you know that Sharon would have been on the call today, but the light, we've had some storms, and so her electricity is out, so she couldn't join us today.
Okay, wonderful.
And love from Elna Sao as well, Khenchen. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have a record, you can share to her.
I will. Thank you.
Yes, Cynthia, wonderful to see you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, please enjoy the Dharma.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Khenchen,
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
A long time since I've seen you.
Okay, how long?
How long? Let's lock you up.
Huh?
Lock you up from Taozen,
Okay, 1,000. Okay, wonderful.
Tibetan Meditation Center.
Okay. Now you just continue your practice, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Enjoy the Dharma for the rest of your life.
Okay, thank you so much, Rinpoche. Shall we?
Okay, yes, Anne.
I also want to say thank you for your teachings and your enthusiasm to teach us. And
Yes.
yeah, I really pray that we all practice what you are teaching and what Shantideva is asking us to do.
Please, yes, please. That's my request, yes.
Yeah, and I really, really hope to see each other soon here in this
Yes,
on this
sometime,
platform.
Yes, yeah, okay. Wonderful. Now,
Yeah,
please
something-
take a deep breath. You have question to say? Anything to say, Anne?
No. Let's meditate.
Okay. Now, please take a deep breath. Inhale, fully. And exhale all the tension. Then make your mind like the space. Space without dust, without cloud. So fresh. And your mind is exactly that way. If we can keep that way. Then with this mind, please say some dedication prayers.
By this marriage, having attained omniscience and defeated the enemy of wrongdoing, may I free all beings from the ocean of existence, with its tumultuous waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Just as the heroic Manjushri, who knows everything as it is, and as Samantabhadra likewise did too, just so to follow all of them and train myself, I perfectly dedicate these meritorious actions. May the precious Supreme Bodhisattva arise in those in whom it has not arisen. Having arisen, may it not diminish, but ever expand more and more. As long as space remains, as long as the world remains, may I too remain and elevate the suffering of the world. May I, in each and every lifetime, carry the weight of Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings. And if I cannot bear that weight, at the very least may I be born with the burden of thinking that the Buddha Dharma could wane.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Yeah,
Thank
be
you.
happy. Okay.
Thank you, Arne.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Yeah,
Thank you,
okay.
Arne.
Okay.
Bodhicharyavatra.
Oh, yes, from Brazil.
Yes.
Okay, Brian, take care.
You too,
Gela,
Gela.
Gela, that's great.
Thank you so much, Arne.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Arne.
So precious in it.
Yes, now you must practice harder.
Yeah.
You can't complain.
See you all. See
See
you all.
you
See you Saturday.